Autism spectrum disorder, ASD, is a neurodevelopmental condition characterized by differences in social communication, sensory processing, and repetitive behaviors. From an evolutionary perspective, autism is not a modern disorder, but likely a long-standing variation in human neurodiversity that has persisted due to genetic factors and potential adaptive advantages in ancestral environments. Genetic studies show that many autism-associated genes predate the divergence of humans from other apes, with some emerging over 100,000 years ago, indicating autism has been part of Homo sapiens' genetic makeup since early human evolution. Its high heritability, up to 80 to 90%, suggests these traits were maintained through family lines where they conferred group-level benefits, despite lower reproductive success in some individuals. Several theories explain why autism traits evolved and persisted. Extreme male brain theory. Autism may represent an extreme form of systemizing, analyzing patterns and rules over empathizing, understanding emotions, traits more pronounced in males. In hunter-gatherer societies, systemizing skills such as tool-making, hunting strategies, or ecological pattern recognition likely provided survival advantages, allowing autistic-like individuals to specialize in critical roles like inventors or foragers. Imprinted brain theory. This posits autism arises from genomic imprinting imbalances, where paternal genes enhance systemizing, for example analytical focus, at the expense of maternal genes promoting social bonding. Evolutionary parent-offspring conflicts over resource allocation may have favored such traits, as they could improve offspring independence in resource-scarce environments. Fitness indicator and specialist roles. Autism traits like exceptional memory, sensory acuity, for example in vision or smell, and fixation on details may have signaled high genetic quality to parents, securing resources for survival. In prehistoric groups, these enabled specialization, e.g., tracking animals, creating art, as seen in hyper-realistic cave paintings from Chauvet Cave approximately 30,000 years ago, or innovating tools, contributing to group resilience and human technological leaps. Polyvagal reptile brain theory. Autism may involve reliance on ancient neural pathways, for example fight-flight-freeze responses, due to underdeveloped social engagement systems, reflecting a reptilian brain state. This could have been adaptive in high-threat ancestral settings, but maladaptive in modern social contexts. Overall, these theories integrate via gene interactions, epistasis. Autism-linked genes often boost intelligence and creativity in most people but can lead to ASD in rare combinations, especially with mutations. Recent research links rapid human brain evolution, e.g. accelerated neuron types, to higher autism prevalence, suggesting it fueled cognitive advancements like language and culture. Autism's prevalence, 1 to 2% globally, underscores its role in neurodiversity, where extreme traits drove Homo sapiens' adaptability. Human prehistory encompasses the period from the emergence of early hominins around 7 million years ago to the advent of written records approximately 5,000 years ago, with a focus on Homo sapiens from about 300,000 years ago onward. Direct evidence of autism spectrum disorder, ASD, in this era is absent, as autism leaves no identifiable traces in skeletal remains or fossils. Instead, insights come from indirect sources: genetic studies tracing autism-linked genes, archaeological interpretations of artifacts and art, anthropological analogies from modern hunter-gatherer societies, and evolutionary theories positing adaptive roles for autistic traits. These suggest that autism, as a form of neurodiversity, was likely present and may have contributed to human survival and innovation during prehistory. Genetic research indicates that autism has deep evolutionary roots, predating the emergence of modern humans. Many autism-associated genes are conserved across primates, originating before the human-chimpanzee split around 6-8 million years ago. For instance, genes like those in the DUF120 domain are linked to brain expansion in higher primates and correlate with autism symptoms, suggesting these traits were part of our ancestral heritage. Human-specific variations, such as those in regions 15q13, 3 and 16p11.2, emerged around 183,000 years ago, aligning with the rise of Homo sapiens. Studies of human-accelerated regions, HRs, small genomic segments that evolved rapidly in humans, reveal that mutations in these areas, particularly in non-coding regulatory DNA active in the brain, are enriched in individuals with autism. These HRs influence synapse development and gene expression, and de novo mutations in them contribute to 1 to 2% of ASD cases, with recessive mutations adding another 5% in certain populations. A principle of neuronal evolution shows that abundant neuron types, like layer 2/3 intratelencephalic excitatory neurons, evolved quickly in humans, with downregulation of autism-linked genes potentially as a trade-off for enhanced cognitive abilities, increasing autism prevalence. This rapid brain evolution may have conferred prehistoric advantages such as slower postnatal development for greater learning flexibility, but heightened vulnerability to autism. Evolutionary theories propose that autistic traits persisted because they offered survival benefits in prehistoric hunter-gatherer contexts. The solitary forager hypothesis suggests autism-related genes were selected for facilitating independent subsistence in nutritionally sparse environments, where groups might disband periodically. Traits like obsessive focus, repetitive behaviors, and systemizing, analyzing patterns and rules, would aid solitary tasks such as hunting, gathering, or tool-making, driven by basic needs like hunger. This mirrors adaptations in solitary primates like orangutans, with low gregariousness and enhanced sensory skills. In group settings, autistic traits such as heightened sensory perception, for example in vision or smell, exceptional memory, and detail-oriented thinking could enable specialization. For example, an individual might excel at tracking animals or innovating tools, contributing to group resilience. Anthropological analogies from modern hunter-gatherers like a Siberian reindeer herder with prodigious memory for 2,600 animals illustrate how such skills were respected despite social preferences for solitude. Around 100,000 years ago, a shift toward collaborative morality, emphasizing group well-being and fairness, likely facilitated the integration of autistic individuals. This allowed diverse personalities to thrive, with autistic traits complementing neurotypical social skills in colonizing harsh habitats like Ice Age environments. Archaeological records provide circumstantial clues. Upper Paleolithic cave art, 30,000–10,000 years ago, such as the hyper-realistic depictions in Chauvet Cave, exhibits traits like exceptional detail, memory, and focus on parts over wholes, common in autistic artists. These resemble works by savants with ASD, suggesting autistic individuals may have contributed to prehistoric art and knowledge transmission. Technological innovations like standardized blade tools and microliths after 100,000 years ago reflect precision and analytical thinking potentially linked to autistic traits. Evidence of care for vulnerable individuals in early hominin sites, for example support for disabled adults 1.8 million years ago at Dmanisi, implies prehistoric societies accommodated differences, including autism. Personal adornments and rituals from 40,000 years ago may have aided social integration of those with communication challenges. While beneficial in subclinical forms, severe autism might have arisen from assortative mating or environmental factors, representing a pathological extreme. The high global prevalence of autism, similar across ethnic groups, supports its prehistoric origins, possibly before humans left Africa. Overall, autism in prehistory is framed as an evolutionary trade-off, traits driving innovation and adaptation, but with social costs mitigated by inclusive communities. This neurodiversity likely fueled human evolutionary success, from tool advancements to habitat expansion.